Nancy, I've had enough. What did I ever do to you that has made you hate me so much?
Do you really want to know?
Yes. Tell me now.
It's because you aren't good enough for my son. He's a special boy and deserves someone far prettier and more pleasant to be around than you. He should be engaged to someone born from a wealthy family instead of a deadbeat like you.
Hey, I'm Paula, and I'll be sharing the story on how my own mother-in-law beat me, resulting in the devastating loss of my unborn baby. Unfortunately, my husband wasn't of good help while I was dealing with all of this, and he showed his true colors eventually. So, I married Joshua when I was about 25. We met at the same workplace. Our relationship was very focused on intimacy. I think there wasn't a single week in the time we were together where Josh hasn't done the deed with me. But although Josh was kind of weird in the sense that he always wanted to get intimate, I did love him, so it was a huge joy when he proposed to me a few years ago. Of course, his mother disapproved, going out of her way to let me know that she really did not like me. Whenever we went out at a restaurant or to a park, his mom, Nancy, would always purposefully forget about me or do something that downright humiliates me in front of a public audience.
I got everybody drinks.
Thanks, Mom.
Of course, honey.
Oh, that's...
Oop! Sorry, Paula, it looks like I forgot to order for you. Oof! You'll have to share with your fiancé or go grab one yourself. It was pretty far.
The store is across the street.
And I have a bad back. Joshua, do you see how your future wife is treating me?
Paula, I'm sure my mom didn't mean it. We can just get drinks later.
Okay, maybe Josh was right. Maybe his mom forgot that I was with them and got drinks for everybody but me. This was completely believable, if only it wasn't the 40th time she was doing this. Nancy would insult me behind Josh's back too, and she even blamed me for every little incident that happened in her life.
Paula, you need to cut back on the showering.
Excuse me, what?
Do you see these utility bills? Our utility bills have gone up $200 ever since you've moved in, so you really have to slow it down there. I'm generous enough to even let you live here, so don't make me charge you money for being here.
I think the funniest part about all of this was the fact that I barely even showered at Josh's house. I showered at the gym most of the time right after my workouts, so even with the 5 times I showered at home, there was no way it would add $200 to Josh's family's bills. I think it's already very clear that Nancy hated my guts, and I needed to know why, so I confronted her. Nancy, I've had enough. What did I ever do to you that has made you hate me so much?
Do you really want to know?
Yes. Tell me now.
It's because you aren't good enough for my son. He's a special boy and deserves someone far prettier and more pleasant to be around than you. He should be engaged to someone born from a wealthy family instead of a deadbeat like you.
I couldn't believe what she was saying, although I had always suspected that what she was saying could be the case. Despite her objections about me, I figured that I should still go through with the wedding. After all, I was marrying Josh, not her. And Josh and I were very happy. Sus. Fortunately, she didn't ruin my wedding, which was great. Shortly after I got married to Joshua, I became pregnant with his child. I was pretty ecstatic. I was finally going to start a family with someone that I truly loved. And also, this might help Nancy realize that I wasn't a bad person. She'll see her new grandbaby and be really happy about it. So, I have some really good news. I'm pregnant.
Oh, I see.
Wow, honey. That's awesome.
I know. I can't wait to see if it'll be a boy or a girl.
I didn't know you two had done the deed already.
Oh, you didn't know?
I bet you corrupted my poor baby.
I see how this was. I just didn't push her from there and ate my dinner silently for the rest of the night. In bed, Josh began to scold me.
Why would you get pregnant? Now who am I going to have sex with?
I'm sorry, Josh. I didn't know how it happened. We can still do it while I'm pregnant.
You suck. That's nasty. I don't want to get it on with a pregnant lady.
Did he just call me a pregnant lady? I was still his wife, so it was completely crazy to hear him call me a pregnant lady as if he didn't know me. Anyway, as time went on, I felt like the tensions in the family were growing by the week, as my baby bump was growing. I think there was one particular moment when I began experiencing morning sickness, and this apparently really ticked off my mother-in-law.
Can you stop puking? It's so nasty and annoying.
I'm sorry, I really can't help it.
Ugh, what a filthy pig.
She was really irritating me. Didn't she have the same symptoms when she was pregnant with Josh? I can't believe another mother would have this type of mentality, and I knew that she really wasn't going to change now that I was going to have a baby. Well, that was that then. But I think there was one day when Nancy really went crazy. I had accidentally fallen on my stomach. But before you panic, I luckily caught myself with my palms, though my wrists hurt a lot from the quick impact. Nancy ran into the room, a panicked look on her face, but quickly her face turned from worried to annoyed when she saw that it was only me laying on the ground. She rolled her eyes as I whined, calling to her for help. However, do you know the craziest thing that happened next? Nancy pushed me to the ground with her foot. I yelled out in pain as she stomped on my back.
You're so annoying and overdramatic. Get up, girl. Hurry and get up.
I quickly scrambled to my feet with a lot of difficulty. I was crying in pain now. I couldn't believe that even my mother-in-law would stoop to this kind of level. I just wished that nothing had happened, since Nancy did kick me kind of hard. The next week, I went to the hospital to do another checkup on my pregnancy. The doctor was shocked when she did her checks. She told me that it seemed that the baby had passed away. I was devastated. It couldn't be true. But it was. I got so incredibly depressed from this happening. I couldn't tell my family what had happened. The news hit me too hard. But I eventually told them.
Oh, thank goodness. I never wanted a grandchild from your filthy body anyway.
Sorry, hun. Does this mean I can go back to doing it with you now?
Are you serious right now? Was this really my husband saying all of these nasty things now? He was never like this. Okay, maybe he was a little obsessed with my body for the entirety of our relationship, but that doesn't really mean anything. He treated me very well, so this made me feel really horrible. You didn't even help me when I fell. I can't believe you'd be that type of person.
Well, what could I do? It was like this moment just waiting to happen.
Wait, so you're admitting to killing my baby?
It's not like that. Paula, what I meant was that...
No, I think I know exactly what you mean by this.
Listen, I could not let you give birth to a child that had turned out to be ugly, all because of you. And I could not die knowing that you are the mother of my own grandson. I had to do it.
Josh, aren't you going to do anything about this?
Not sure. I don't think I wanted a child in the first place anyway. So, I'm with my mother. Sorry, babe. But thank God, I'd been touching girls at the club since you weren't available. I can finally be with you again.
There weren't enough words to express how heartbroken and betrayed I felt by this. Without even thinking about what I was doing, I ran towards Josh and kicked him as hard as I possibly could between the legs. I could tell that both he and Nancy were shocked by this. Nancy just stared at me, scared that I would attack her next, but I just stared daggers at her, until Josh slowly started to stand back up when I kicked him again. He fell over, writhing in pain. I quickly called one of my friends that night and explained my entire situation. I finally realized how horrible people Josh and Nancy were, and that I had to leave them. Especially after Josh admitted to being with other women at clubs. The divorce actually went by pretty smoothly, though my now ex-husband and ex-mother-in-law kept telling me that this was going to end with me being homeless. We'll see about that. After I moved out of Josh's place, I knew I had to find a job somewhere else. I did quite quickly, since the boss of my old work luckily liked me a lot and recommended me for another position. I started with renting rooms before I finally settled into a place of my own. Looking for sympathy, I posted the story about what happened to me on social media, and the story went viral and Josh and his mother were tormented as a result. It wasn't my intention to cause them problems, but I was quite happy to hear that people would stop them on the street and give them crap for how they treated me. So, honestly, I was quite traumatized from relationships because of Josh. I didn't try to get into any relationships, but soon I met the CEO of a big company. He was very respectful towards me, and we did start dating. One day, I was at the supermarket when I recognized Nancy working one of the registers. Hey, Nancy.
Oh, come on, not you again. How's your life? Is it going miserably like I told you?
Actually, it's going great. I'm engaged to Lance Owens now.
As in the CEO of that big company? You're kidding.
Nope, I'm not.
Well, if you're so wealthy, you wouldn't mind lending us a few $1,000s to just pay off the bills we need. We'd appreciate it. It would be the least you could do after spreading that nasty story about us online.
What? I'm not married to Josh anymore. I don't have to give anything to you guys.
Come on, don't be greedy now. After all, after you kicked Josh like you did, he is no longer able to get an erection. You broke him and stole from me the ability to ever have a grandchild.
Nancy, please. It was only fair. After all, you killed my child, so I took from you the ability to ever have a grandchild. Good riddance. Your son is deviant monster and the world is better off without him making a child. You're just lucky that I didn't also kick you. Angrily, I opened a carton of milk that I had been intending to buy and dumped it on the counter in front of me, making a massive mess for Nancy to have to clean up. It honestly felt good hearing Nancy sputtering behind me as I walked out of the door. If they really thought they could just use me for money like that, then they were completely wrong. A week later, I got calls from Nancy and Josh, asking for financial help. I told my fiancé, and he ended up taking care of it by filing a lawsuit against two of them. It was easy winning since he was rich and afforded a very good lawyer. They had to move out and move into a very cheap area of the city, living miserably now. I don't really feel bad, since Josh was a cheater and weirdo. Also, Nancy hated me, even if she pretended she was different now. But what do you think?